Yes, Edigi.
So, Senior, good morning to our viewers and the two of you. I need to make the point that, first of all, today happens to be the 31st anniversary of the formation of the NDC. So it's only proper as a rep here to raise these issues. But that said, you see, I think that our focus on the special prosecutor is taking the conversation, really, from the real culprits in this whole enterprise. You see something, you and I have never put our presidency on the line relative to the devastating effect or impact of Galamsey. It is only one person, and that one person is Mr. Akufo-Addo. He's told us that he's putting his presidency, Frimpong Boateng and the others are basically assigns for him. If at the end of putting your presidency on the line, the scorecard is that persons that you have appointed to supervise this fight against this illegal, what I call environmental terrorism, the scorecard is that persons that you have appointed have now become persons of interest for the purposes of corruption and corruption-related offenses. What you do is to bow down your head in shame. What these things do, this conversation about the SP and others, what it does is that it takes our eyes off the ball. And the ball is that Mr. Akufo-Addo, with the benefit of power...
You are not dealing with the substance.
Hold on.
Deal with the substance.
Hold on, calm down.
Deal with the
There's
substance.
nothing propaganda about what I'm saying.
Deal with the substance.
The point I am making is that with the benefit of power, our expectation is that the president would have demonstrated leadership. That has not happened. We cannot scapegoat the office of the special prosecutor at this crucial moment. Why do I say so? About 2 weeks ago, I went with my client, quite popular person. The office invited a person. I took the client there. After going through all the procedural issues, they told us right there that, listen, the constitutional provision on fair trial, arrest and others, they will take us through all those processes. When we finish, and they watch videos and what, they came to the conclusion that, well, they will grant us bail. I was thinking that, with the prominence of my clients, right, they will say, go home and come back later. They said, no, we need a surety. So a university lecturer came in, stood in, because it was Friday, they said, okay, come back on Monday with the surety. So we'll go to your house and inspect. And I respected them for that professionalism. The point I'm making is that so far, Professor Frimpong Boateng has not alleged that any of his rights as a Ghanaian, be it a suspect or person of interest, was violated in the entire process, except the concerns raised that he ought to have been given self-recognizance bail. Those matters are at his discretion. But what is not enough is that you were bailed. Remember that there are people who are kept in custody as Ghanaians. But in the specific case, you were granted bail with the surety. In any case, they've not extricated the surety. Then you say that, by reason of the bail condition, you spent few more days or hours in the office of the... That did not happen. What I don't want us to do is to lose the real fight in trying to hallow individuals in this conversation. Initially, until I listened to the special prosecutor this month, I had my own reservation, which I have expressed publicly. I said, look, well, maybe with the benefit of hindsight, Prof should have been given self-recognizance bail, looking at how prominent, he is. But there's a justification that has been provided. He had the discretion to take, and I do not want to fault him at this point. It is too early in the conversation to begin to fault him. Initially, I was even thinking that, okay, make Frimpong Boateng, instead of a suspect, possibly the complainant. The OSP explained that, look, I have started this investigation since 2022. So it is not about my knowledge of a report that was released in 2023. That is just an additional input. So that if my investigation was premised on the report he has sent to the presidency, then possibly I'll be treating him as a complainant. But I had started my investigation way earlier. And I'm happy you mentioned the issue of the police investigation as well. See, now look at the situation where Frimpong Boateng's letter or report got to the presidency on the 19th day of March 2021. The man goes to GBC 2 years later to do an interview where he says that the perpetrators of this environmental terrorism are associates. They work at the Jubilee House. The next time, then the president hypocritically says, I'm referring you to the CID for investigation. A report that has always been in your custody since 2021. So in 2021, where you saw these persons of interest, close associates, family members, whose name have been mentioned in an official report to you, if you wanted to demonstrate leadership, that is when you will say, look, in 2021, I've received this report through my chief of staff. CID, investigate. You waited. You sat on the report 2 years. The man became PIF, goes to GBC, grants an interview, and quickly he said, CID, come and investigate. Mr. President, we can see through the sham and charade.
And to be faithful to the facts, the president did not refer Professor Frimpong Boateng for investigation. He referred the report to the CID for investigation.
No. If you listen to the president...
However belated.
No. When the president heard the mentioning by Professor Frimpong Boateng on the GBC interview that his close associates or persons he work with are into Galamsey, then he triggered the CID investigation.
Investigate the matter, not Professor Frimpong Boateng.
No, I mean the matter. What I'm saying is that the allegations, so he should come and justify the people he claimed who work at the Jubilee House, who are into Galamsey. But the point I'm making is that you, the president, you have been in receipt of the report since 2021. No action until the man went on air. So that hypocrisy, we need to take it out from there. So the whole idea of making it look like, oh, it is in any case, the special prosecutor on this particular issue even started the investigation much earlier, correct? Even before the president's action. So if anybody ought to be even commended relative to this Galamsey fight and the corruption-related matters, it should be him. I've heard the other conversation where, for instance, there's this claim that, a former client of the SP, and so the SP cannot investigate. And on your show the other time...
That's an ass.
Yes. I've listened to my own...
matter with Charles Bisu.
Fantastic. I've listened to lawyers for Charles Bisu make the point that even when the SP had obtained a lawful order from the court to arrest Mr. Charles Bisu, an appointee of Mr. Akufo-Addo, they will not respect the orders. I find that suggestion problematic, being an officer of the court. Because you see, no matter how dubious the order may even be, compliance is required for public policy reasons. Because you see, if we all elect that lawful orders or otherwise of the court will not respect it, and that will resort to self-help. The danger, Gary, you and I agree, is to create a chaotic situation. Then we are put to an election that, oh, this order is lawful, this order it is not. So I'll respect this, I will not. I think that we should not be having that conversation now. Go to the office of the special prosecutor. If you have grievances, you can then legitimately challenge those grievances. But until that is done, you cannot put yourself to an election that you want to respect this order from the court or I will not. So on this, with the explanation from the office of the special prosecutor, I think the conversation really should be the failure demonstrated by Mr. Akufo-Addo relative to this fight against Galamsey. He should be the focus and not the special prosecutor, respectfully.
Well, you want to say something briefly about that aspect, because there are some lawyers that say this is very concerning, that the lawyer for Charles Bisu, Nana Bafo, will say that, yes, if you are talking about a warrant, whatever it is, our client will not respect it. Nana J. Bafo, who was saying that.
Well, Samson. Let me be very frank and straightforward on the matter. That statement if indeed was uttered by Nana Ajayi Bafo to the effect that they will not respect a lawful court order, I think, in my view, it was wrongful, it was unethical, and I think it should not come from a lawyer.
I agree with you.
In the sense that, you see, like my brother Eduji said, you cannot choose which orders of court to obey, which not to obey. Ex parte affoda.
Yep.
You must take steps to set aside the order, get the order varied, or on appeal overturned. Nobody can choose by himself or herself to respect or not to respect court orders. Court orders are meant to be enforced.
Okay.
You see, so, I have a big difficulty with that statement. And I think that my brother Bafo is not doing his client any good by making that statement out there. The orders of the court, if they believe that the orders ought to be appealed against, there are legal processes to go through.
He said he thinks that it was improperly secured because at the time that they were getting the order, they had also issued a writ, and they didn't inform the court that they have issued a writ seeking to stop the SP from investigating their clients.
You see, that is why I'm saying that if you have any crimes by the process with the order was procured, you must go to the court with a rightful application.
Yeah, and you quote ex parte affoda clearly.
Yes, but
it says even if a judgment is unlawful, you can't say you won't obey.
Yes, no, it does not lie in the mouth of anybody.
And Senior, you agree that the policy reason, the public policy reason, is that you see, you don't want to create the impression out there in public that you have the opportunity to elect that this order of the court, I will respect it, this one I will not.
Okay.
Because at the rural level, people may not understand all these intricacies. Yeah. So even when you serve them a court order, they can easily decide that no, we will not. Even at the risk of contempt. You don't want to put your client in that situation.
That's right.
And I'm also saying that, look, I just told you, I've gone to the office of special with a client. They brought an invitation. We honored the invitation. We went there. They said, you are under arrest. We said, for what offenses? They listed the offenses. We said, no, we are not. We gave a statement. We went through the processes. I asked for bail. I said, look, the person left home and came to your office voluntarily. On what basis would you want to detain the person?
Okay.
Now, the officers acted professionally.
So you are saying you are a witness with contrary testimony to Nana Ajayi Bafo's comment that the OSP is acting in a military fashion without respect.
In any
to
case,
the Constitution.
if it was military, right, then in a Gestapo manner, they would have even arrested your client on the way home. Nothing precludes them from doing that. But this time around, they've extended an invitation to you. So what you do is that you go there with your client. When you go there and any of his rights is being violated, you now have a firm basis to approach the courts that relative to ABC conduct, the manner in which you have treated my... And you see, Kisi Jaben, he taught me, Prof, he taught me with criminal law. The least or the last person I expect in the face of everything to violate it, because
he taught both of you, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because usually in his criminal law, what he does is that he starts with Article 14, 15, 19 first, at the preliminary level of the class. And he will tell you that, and you see the benefit he has is that he also came from criminal practice.
That's right.
Criminal defense. So he appreciates the things that he enjoyed with his client.
So I was actually mentioning to him, there was one occasion that we had clients at the BNI, the then BNI.
NIB now.
Yes, myself, him, Magas.
Yes, Chief.
Yes, Egbert Fable.
Yeah, Chief.
And we went, and the BNI officials' conduct was clearly in breach of our client's rights. And when we realized was getting, Kisi was very livid. And he called some of us together and said, look, we shouldn't allow this to go on. So we actually, had to inform the AG that this outfit must be told that they can't do some of these things. They arrest people and they don't even give them the opportunity to contact their family.
You know, you go there and they'll tell you go here, you go here and go
they
here.
And keep them there. They can keep them there for days without bail and without any. And I remember Gary also had a situation at the Ioko. You know, his client was being held, all of these things. And so when someone like that, together with us, was leading the charge
and he
against
appreciates
the impunity, I don't expect that when he
and you see, so far, you see, in terms of substance, you see,
right.
Nobody has said that when they went there, their rights were violated.
All right.
At least if that is, then it provides a substantive basis to question his conduct or professionalism.
Right.
At this point, no such. Initially, you know, Senior, just maybe just 30 seconds on this. I was even saying that, well, the manner in which the public had cast Frimpong Boateng, possibly he should be looked more as a person of interest, more than a suspect. Because then he provides a certain information for you. But you see, immediately you arrest somebody, you tell the person that you have the right to remain silent. The right to remain silent may also be a conduit to withhold valuable information if the person is treated more differently. But at this point, I do not even know the case strategy for the SP. He may be looking at the case more differently as an investigator than me, a public commentator on this issue, a legal commentator.
Right.
So it put the matters in different perspectives.
Right.
And I want to give it the benefit of the doubt.
All right. On this platform, Eduji, who is lawyer and a very good one at that, and leading the NDC's charge in many of the cases that it's involving, has said something that is contrary to what some of the parties, you know, big people have been saying, to suggest that the OSP was doing anything wrong. He doesn't see that the OSP is doing anything wrong. So maybe you will need to contact some of those of your officers to tell them that they should be mindful.
Maybe my posturing towards the commentary is also informed by the fact that, you see, persons I interact with clients, some whatever, your posturing towards said people, and the person I even went there is an NDC parliamentary person that I went there with.
Okay.
If the office could have taken a more antagonistic posturing against the person, but in this case, they give us, and by the time we're done with the investigation, it was clear to them that they were wrong. It was clear to them.
Thank you. Yes.